So how are we feeling after obviously Friday, my man?
I'm good. I was just trying to read your terms and conditions. They're not on for long enough. I think you need to make people read them make them read them and have a button to click to be like, yep, I've read them. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yes. The champ is still here. If anyone saw Friday and is aware, I am still the champion of 5 separate unique championships. Defending 2 of them is sort of one. And Derice can't beat Ace Matthews, can he?
And it's funny you mentioned that because the first person who's joined in Instagram is actually Rep Kate, so she's watching.
There you go. We were just talking about you, Katie, before we came on. Yeah.
All good, don't worry.
Oh, yes, mostly, Katie, don't worry.
But anyway, we're talking to obviously Ace Matthews. We've got loads of stuff to catch up on. Let's roll the intro. As that introduction was playing, Katie said hello and better be laughing face.
I know, otherwise she'll break my ribs again. Yeah, she knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, I don't know. Do you want to explain that to people listening?
Oh, okay. On Friday, as I was facing Derice at BWR in front of 1,000 people, Katie, the referee, her first time ever refereeing the most beloved wrestler in Britain, Ace Matthews, decided to take it upon herself to attack Ace Matthews during the match. Luckily, Ace Matthews was able to dispose of her and to defeat Derice comprehensively. So thank you, Katie.
I was there. It was absolutely incredible. I want to talk about the entrance, man, because I've got to be honest, I was absolutely smiling. Do you know what I mean? How did this all come about?
That's something that Adam, Tyler Devlin, Scotty Rourke and I have been talking about for a while. I think it was one of them who came up. So that the masks that I had with everyone dressing up in them, I have had for years. And someone got them, and I don't know why, but they were like, "Oh, we've got masks of you." So I was like, "Can I have them, please?" And they let me have them. So it wasn't something that I'd actually been like, "Oh, I'm going to get photos, mask of myself." I had them for years, and I was like, "This is going to be really cool for an entrance." And this seemed to be the one. It was either Scotty or Tyler who wanted me to do the rap entrance, and I was like, absolutely, there's only one song I can do for that. And clearly, as not only a highly skilled wrestler, musician, I'm also a highly skilled rapper. Not many people know that. I was like, well, clearly it's going to be a little bit of Vanilla Ace with the old Ace baby. So yeah, I spent a lot of time on Friday making sure I had that all right. I'd honestly, as soon as I arrived at the building, everyone was coming up to me. He said, can I be Ace? Can I be Ace? Can I be Ace? And I'm like, you can be Ace like me, but I've only got space for 8 of you to be Ace. And so, yeah, 8 people were plucked out of there, 8 lucky people. And they got to be Ace for a good 5 minutes. And every single one of them afterwards has thanked me for the opportunity and told me they've learned a lot. Which is, why we do it.
Yeah, and one thing I love is the actual transition and stuff like that. Was that obviously you as well, as that was obviously Tyler?
What do you mean, sorry?
So the transition from different songs, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so that was my idea to put the different ones together. I do have a friend who is slightly better with technology than I am. I know it's a surprise that I'm not incredible at everything. And he put it together, and then chat with a couple of other friends. We figured out the right way of transitioning from one to another. Like, I'm Ace and you could be two, because people obviously need to be aware that it's me. They can get hyped up, get excited that it's going to be Ace Matthews they're about to see. A little bit of Eminem for the sort of newer school rap guys there, and then boom, straight into the Vanilla Ice, Vanilla Ace for the seasoned rap veterans like Ace Matthews.
Absolutely. And of course, sticking over to Ace Matthews and stuff like that, later on the night, we got to see the Ace Army.
We did see the Ace Army. Not for the longest time. I also think that it was quite unreasonable that only one of them was put through a table. I wasn't put through a table. I wasn't in the team at the time. But my name's in the army. And also, they tried to put them through the table. It didn't work first time, so therefore that table should be null and void. But anyway, it's those sinister dark forces of Scott Bell working again. And Ace Army's, probably the greatest trio that British wrestling, most European, it's up there worldwide, but definitely probably the greatest trio that British wrestling has ever seen. Yeah,
absolutely. And overall, our BWR for yourself?
Oh, it was awesome, absolutely incredible. I was speaking to Tyler Devlin earlier. His arm is now back in its socket. Mm-hmm. If anyone's not aware, his arm actually fell out. It actually came out of its socket during the main event. He's managed to put it back in, and he's off to see Sleep Token tonight, which probably isn't the best place to go with an arm that's just been put back into the socket. But yeah, he was absolutely buzzing with it. I think everyone who's there was buzzing with how that went, the setup, the fact they managed to live stream it all, and just every single match, every single person on that card there was incredible. From everybody getting there early, setting up, selling merch, performing on the show, sorting it out, driving Tyler Devlin to the hospital. And obviously, it benefited greatly from two matches featuring the most beloved wrestler in Britain, Ace Matthews.
Simon Gibb on Instagram says, "Hi Ace, do you think Landed Gentry will give you the boot?"
Why would they do that? Why would they want to do that? Ace Matthews is a veteran of tag teams. Ace Matthews is in at least 5 or 6 different tag teams at the moment. Landed Gentry are aware of this. Landed Gentry are one of the greatest tag teams that Britain's ever seen. In fact, they are still trying to make a better Britain, despite, things haven't gone their way recently, although they are still the North Tag Team Champions. So no, we are a power trio, probably the greatest trio that's ever been seen in British wrestling. Probably European wrestling is up there in world wrestling, but we are probably the Landed Gentry and Ace Matthews, your North Tag Team Champions, your North Ultra Violent Champion, probably the greatest trio that's ever been seen in British wrestling.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me obviously on to my next point, actually, is, of course, talk about the origins of Hardcore Ace.
Easy, isn't it? It's just easy. To be fair, I had a bit of a bone to pick with Clint Margeri, a bit of bone to pick with Rory Coyle. I managed to show them up by beating Rory Coyle on my debut. That's my first ever match in North. For those of people who don't know what a debut is, it sounds French, but it's a word that we use in the English language. It means your first match, and I beat Rory Coyle quite fair and square in my first ever match. That was about a year and a half ago. I've gone on to defeat Clint Margera, managed to put him through a table wrapped with barbed wire in front of about 1,000 people again at the Walker Dome early this summer to become your current defending undisputed North ultra-violent hardcore champion. Hardcore Ace, he just figured that, you know what, I'm that good at wrestling. What not? See, sinister, dark forces that I'm probably a natural at hardcore, ultra-violent deathmatch wrestling. And as usually turns out from Ace Matthews, I was entirely correct.
Yeah. Simon Gibbs obviously followed on with that. It says, are you scared of Mr. Lou Nixon getting to you at all?
He's got to find me first, hasn't he? He's got to find me. Anyway, now I think that he respects me now. After the last match I had, comprehensively defeating Emerson Jane, who, by the way, is something of a deathmatch legend herself. I'm pretty sure Lou Nixon has accepted me as one of his own. In fact, I did see him out in the car park afterwards, and yeah, I mean, like we if it wasn't for some serious business that the Ladies Gentry and I had to get to straight afterwards, we'd have probably had a pint together and just discussed tactics, in the old hardcore division.
There you go. So from obviously North to NGW, as you actually are, we're going to make sure this is correct. You are the true NGW champion, correct?
I am the true NGW champion at NGW. You'll see me with my true NGW championship. I defeated Matt Myers. What was it, 3 shows ago? We opened the show. I defeated him despite interference from the dastardly Brady Phillips. He used to call himself ineffable, but no one knows what it meant. So he got angry about that, and he came to attack me. He laid a little bit on Matt Myers. I defeated Matt Myers, hands down, to become the true NGW champion.
There you go. And I just want to emphasize that, by the way, because I know exactly which show is on about. It was the Hull City Hall, and I was there, and I did witness it.
And it happened, didn't it?
Mm-hmm, it did.
It did.
And obviously the other one we also get covered yet. You mentioned tag team wrestling and stuff like that. I'm going to show you an image, and I feel like you guys have got so much chemistry together, right?
Oh yes. Don't you think that Chase looks a little bit like Eddie the Ed, the Iron Maiden, a mascot?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So we actually, again, highlights the total dominance of Ace Matthews in whatever wrestling discipline he enters into. In our very first tag team match together, we defeated the Meat Wagon, the Goth Boys themselves, and have defended our title. In fact, Chase hasn't even been there for about the last 6 months. I've been there holding the fort all by myself. And we are still and forever, including this Sunday, where, again, the owner has decided to try and stack the odds against us with some random special guest referee. There it is. They're lost at the parish. The Freak Show. Freaks. They look a little bit like Meat Wagon. Misery Business. Goths. Just like Meat Wagon. Against the Cool Kids. Chase the Ace. For our title tag team championship.
There you go. Not ruling that one out at all, are you?
No.
Is it safe to say then you are actually the true belt collector?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I didn't want to big myself up too much. I wasn't going to point out that myself, but apparently that's what I am. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's knock this question out, because I've been obviously wanting to play it. So a few weeks ago, we had Ross on the show, Ref Ross, and I asked him, is it got a question, obviously, for you? So we're going to play the clip, and you're going to get the chance to respond. Are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just know that Ace is going to not. There's going to be some sarcastic reply to this, isn't there?
Well, that's kind of my next question, actually, because Ace is obviously on the show in a couple of weeks' time. What question shall I put to Ace from you?
Oh no. I don't know. You know what? Let's lay down the challenge. Let's just lay down the challenge right here. Scott versus Ace. Me as Scott's manager on the outside. Ref Katie ref in the match. What do you say, Ace? What do you say? Talk a big game on social media.
Your response?
Sinister Dark Forces working together again. Before I answer your question, can I just let you know that at the BWR show on Friday that you were at, I did have a little word with Ross, and I was informed by himself that I, Ace Matthews, was his wife's favourite wrestler, which shouldn't go to it as a surprise for many people. But yeah, just put that one out there, that despite him sort of thinking this is a good match, despite him probably being part of the Sinister Dark Forces, his wife's probably on my side. And I just want to throw the cat, here she is, the cat amongst the pigeons, just to put that in. But yeah, I would wrestle referee Scott Bell. Even though he's probably going to have a whole host of referees and, refereeing officials, linesmen and, VAR and everything at his disposal. However, remember, I am the greatest. What did you call me? The best belt collector?
The belt collector.
The belt collector. There we go. There's the cat trying to get amongst the pigeons right behind me now. I am the belt collector. I am the greatest tag team wrestler of this generation. I have the most tag teams. I am probably in 3 of the top 5 trios that Great Britain has ever seen. As the most beloved wrestler in Britain, I'm sure there's many, many people who are there to back Ace Matthews up. Should those Sinister Dark Forces get a little bit cheeky.
Oh dear. So you basically saying that you would actually fight Scott in the ring?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know who's going to make it happen. Probably Rise, where he likes to, hit people with light tubes and things, but he forgets Hardcore Ace, your reigning and defending North Ultraviolent champion, is undefeated in hardcore matches.
Simon Gibbs followed on with another question. He says, is your ego bigger than Shreddy's?
I don't know what he's talking about. I am the most humble wrestler that he's probably ever met. Probably that you've ever spoken to. You saw just how much Ross there was trying to make that whole conversation about himself. He was trying to slide himself into a match that he'd created in his own mind between referee Scott Bell, between himself and Katie as the Sinister Dark Forces. Whereas I'm just little Ace Matthews, the underdog. I'm just here fighting for the people. Power to the people, guys. Power to, there's the camera, the people.
Let's not forget, though, obviously, Ross is obviously referee's most important thing. You know what I mean? The cash-in and stuff like that.
Sorry, you did a little...
I said that let's not forget, though, Ross has obviously been there when you your most important moments, like your cash-in.
Yeah, he has. But, have you met Scott Bell before? Have you met Scott Bell?
I have.
Okay. So Ross and I, we used to be tight. We had a few good little conversations. I fear that he's getting corrupted. As you saw, nobody asked for that match. I think there's probably a little word in his ear. And by little word, I mean a little person having a word in his ear, trying to publicly challenge me there. So, you know what? Ross's wife, his favorite wrestler. Once we're over this little hump, we'll be buds again. Don't worry, we'll be buds.
Oh dear. I Wilburn says the original deathmatch cutie.
I will burn nose. The original deathmatch cutie. See, people have imitated me. They've released clothing lines over the deathmatch cutie. I wrote it on my own vest, on my hardcore vest, on a hardcore ace attire. Very first, lived up to that name. In fact, I've even had wrestling fans aged between 5 and 55 dressing up as Ace Matthews as the hardcore cutie.
Awesome. So I want to take obviously a few steps back on stuff like that, and I want to talk about your time at 3CW.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
3CW was awesome. I was never in the very first incarnation of it, but when it returned, and I was there with Dave Graves, and for some reason, he has changed his ways now, but Benji, the three of us were an excellent team together. In fact, the three of us, we were probably one of the best trios that Britain's ever seen. Probably up in Europe, probably one of the best trios in the world. But I'd definitely say at that time we were the best trio in Britain. We even had other people like Miles Kamen wanted to join us. WWE's Ridge Holland trying to have a go. Even Keith Lee was trying to join us. I think there's a famous time photo where Grado, Scottish TV superstar Grado, tried offering me a cake in exchange for joining Ace Athletic, which is what we were called, Ace Athletic, which I think says a lot about like the person in charge who's, I never asked to be in charge. It's just a natural thing that people look up to me. But that wasn't really, really a fun time, a really good time in wrestling. It was something for me that really helped me sort of grow as a wrestler, as a character, and sort of out of Yorkshire. In fact, it was in a time where Liam Slater and I used to go around doing a lot of production jobs as well. So we go up to Scotland, we go up to the northeast. We do some even MMA jobs as well, where we're doing production there. And sort of the two of us made our way up there to 3CW. We got a really good experience there. They put a lot of time and effort behind us as wrestlers, as characters. And yeah, it was just an awful lot of fun. Even when I snapped my Achilles and Dave Graves did his ACL, and we did that within a month of each other, they still had us up there working alongside everybody. Still had us as characters that everyone could see. It was a really, really good, really fun time for us.
Awesome. Simon Gibbs literally butchering you here says, if North makes trio tag titles, you and the landed gentry would cheat to win them. How do you respond to that?
Has he ever seen us cheat? We are pure human, salt of the earth, very down to earth, very friendly, approachable guys. None of us would ever even dream of cheating. And if someone else tried to cheat against us, we'd probably be able to outsmart you. It might come across that we're cheating back again, tit for tat and that. But I think we're probably the fairest players in the game. I think that's what we've been called before. Yeah, the cleanest players in the game.
There you go. So I asked Mark asking this question yesterday, and I'm going to ask you it. What's the biggest thing you've learned in wrestling? Could be like in the ring or outside the ring.
Oh, okay. So outside of the ring, just talk to everyone. It's great. Like in terms of like going into other jobs and other businesses and things, like you learn, it's a thing. You go shake hands with everyone. You go talk to everyone. And then if you go and do that in real life, outside of wrestling, oh my God, people are amazed by that sort of thing. That's such a weird, like, yeah, it's a thing that people don't do. It's a very American thing as well. Like when you go into a shop in America and they go, "Hey, how are you?" And you're like, "Whoa." But they're just really nice people and they've got the best customer service. And if you take that sort of attitude into life here as well, it's it works a dream. In terms of in the ring, be what no one else is. So just do what no one else is doing, or like do the opposite of what people are doing. That's what I've always done.
There you go. I think that's probably fair, though, right?
Yeah.
I can't really argue that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look back, obviously, is it 9 years you've been in the ring now? Is that correct? About 9, 10 years?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. I was someone was telling me my debut was in like May 20. What year is it now? It's 24, isn't it? So May 15. Yep. So yeah, 9 years.
Wow. And when you look back, what's some like your highlights of your career at the moment?
Right. So, so to be fair, starting training, great, awesome experience. I started training in America as well, and then here in the UK. Things like Butlins runs have always been really, really fun, and such a great learning and bonding experience. Getting to travel with everyone, spend 6 weeks just wrestling, do the ring, have an evening together, get up, go to the gym, drive 6 hours, put up a ring, do a wrestle, take down the ring, do the same again, and you just get better and better and better. And plus, you're just traveling with people that you like, people with you that you look up to, people that you learn from. That's awesome. To be fair, I think for me, since COVID, things have really started doing really well for me. That's when I felt more comfortable and more sort of like I belong. And I think as a wrestler, that's been my strongest points, both as a wrestler, as a character. The last couple of years, get to do some of the things I'm doing at the moment. I get to travel up to North and go down wrestling in London, and people trusting me to give me championships or wrestle imports, and then also help newer guys come along. Say Boy at BWR, so to get someone like him to be like, everyone loves him. I don't know why. A few different things there. They're just, they're incredible experiences. I think for one thing I say to some of my friends, especially non-wrestling friends as well, like I have no interest in like going out on a night out and going out drinking and doing that. But for me, jumping in a car with a load of wrestlers, driving somewhere, doing a wrestle, coming back together, it's a night out. You're just with your friends, but you just sat in a car in a backstage area wrestling, and I'd much rather be doing that, which is why I'm glad I'm doing it and why I am doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say that that's probably one of the hardest parts, is the traveling for wrestlers?
It can be. So we've had like loads of days where we've driven, like I'd say on a Sunday morning, we've left at 6, 7 in the morning to drive down to Minehead. So I have to drive about 7 hours, put up a ring, wrestle a show, put down the ring, drive back up again in the same day. That sort of thing sucks. It is fun. It's exciting. You get to spend time with all your friends, but that's very, very hard. But then a lot of the time, like, no, I really enjoy that part. You get to spend the time with your friends. And Scott Bell. Yeah.
I can't wait for Scott's response to this video. Oh dear. Simon Gibbs piped up again and says, would you hypothetically wrestle an inanimate object?
I would. That's not the first time I've been asked this week. I mean, the inanimate object wouldn't have much of a chance. Why? Why? Can you ask him why? But yeah, of course. I'm not afraid of anyone or anything. So if you pick the object, I will face it wherever you want, as long as someone puts the match together. Right? Like, I can't say whenever you want, but wherever you want, whatever you want me to face, I will answer that challenge right now. And I bet that inanimate object is going to fare a lot better and be a lot less scared of me than referee Scott Bell.
Simon, can you elaborate what you mean which inanimate object? Because I'm curious to know now.
Or, in fact, we might not need to say anything. He might mean Scott Bell by the inanimate object. So if that is the case, then I don't want to cause any offense to him, and we'll just move swiftly past it.
Ali Kane says, would you wrestle Darth Vader?
Would I wrestle Darth Vader? Yeah. Yeah, again, along the lines of not scared of anybody, of willing to take on all comers, real, fictional, invisible, inanimate objects, living, not living. Yeah. Send them on. Yeah.
This show's literally gone off the rails. I'm going to be honest. So Simon Gibbs says, so you'd be willing to fight my ferret plushie or a waving tube thing?
Oh, the waving tube thing would be tricky, actually. What was was it a ferret plushie?
Yes.
A ferret plushie.
Yep.
I reckon I'd have a good chance against a ferret plushie. I think maybe to even the odds against the wacky inflatable flaring arm tube man thing, whatever it's called, probably best to be in like a cage match or something, just because I don't know where he's going to go. Maybe just so that he doesn't run away. Probably some sort of stipulate, or maybe a lumberjack match, just to make sure it comes back to me. Yeah. Pepsi.
What about that one? Bottom.
Would you wrestle yourself? I've been wrestling myself every single day to get to this point. You know what? And there's a bit of a motivational message to everyone out there. Every day you wake up and you are wrestling yourself to get to the next level, to be the best that you can be. And take this from Ace Matthews. When he wrestles himself, he always defeats himself. He always overcomes the odds. And he's always delighted by the outcome.
Oh, there you go. That's a nice little powerful message. I love that, by the way. Oh, dear. This has been absolutely a blast off. Are you enjoying this, my man? I don't even know where to go anymore.
That's okay. You can go where you want.
All right. Okay. So, being obviously a wrestling stuff like that, do you get the chance to watch it from like a fan's point of view, or is in your terms recruiting? Let's say that.
Recruiting. Yeah. Yes. I try to at times. So, say I went to All In this year. I went there last year as well. I went to a True Grit show earlier this year, just to go watch it as a fan. And I do my very best to do that. And I think I'm better at doing it now than I was when I first started doing it, because it's a bit easier to like switch off that side of your brain. You still obviously see things in a certain way. But yeah, I'm still able to do that. Yeah, and it's still enjoyable as well. It's not like it's something that you stops becoming a thing. So yeah, I think it is. It is really good. Yeah.
Okay. How's Wing, by the way? You mentioned True Grit.
Wing's good. What day is it? Tuesday.
Yep.
He might be streaming on Twitch. And if so, after this, head over to twitchtv.com/ maybe Wing Commander Nash. I don't actually know what his thing is. And if he's not on tonight, he'll be on tomorrow. Just put in the search thing, Wing Commander Nash, and you'll probably come up with that. Yeah, but yeah, Wing is a good guy. Wing is a good guy. We are probably the greatest tag team in the UK. Probably, up there in Europe, if not one of the best tag teams in the world, but definitely one of the very greatest, probably the best tag team in Britain at the moment and for the foreseeable future. Yeah,
absolutely. Simon Gibbs followed on. He said, "If you didn't become a wrestler, what would you do? What would you have done instead?"
What weird question. You know what? I always wanted to be a footballer, but I wasn't quite good enough. Luckily, I was good enough to be a wrestler. In another life, I may have been a teacher or run some of my own sort of companies. Or more likely, I'd imagine Ace Matthews would have probably just been walking down the street, and I'm not saying people that would just follow him, because that's a completely different train of thought that we go down. But in this new social media sort of era, when you're looking at like Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I think without even trying, he'd have probably become a little bit bigger than that.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I feel like more questions obviously begin to wind down and stuff. Ace, you've done so much obviously since you've last been on the show, man. What's next for you, man?
For me, oh God, when was that? Was it about 2 years ago? The last time I was on here,
about a year, just over a year.
Just over a year. So, obviously, as you called me, the belt collector. There's two things that I need to do with that. A is being a fighting champion, is continue to defend those successfully. B, the belt collector should really be collecting some more belts as well. So again, as I said earlier, happy to take anyone, living, dead, real, fictional, animate, inanimate, challenge me for a championship, and I will just continue to grow limbs to hold all the different championships off. Yeah, and again, just trying to expand where you can see Ace Matthews, so that you can see him in those places more, and also outside a little bit further afield. That would be the ideal answer for that.
Oh, of course, and you can see Ace Matthews in action this Sunday at the Parish against these two tag teams. I mean, I've got my winner, by the way. I'm not going to say it, but you already know who it is. One of the guys is already on the show here. Just saying. You
mean Meatwagon 2 and Meatwagon 3, the two other goth boy teams?
Yeah, something like that. We'll just go with that.
Yeah, and obviously, Chase and I will be. I don't know. Are there any more belts for us to win there? A little bit more championship gold. I think we could probably do. Once we've done that, we'll just. I don't know. I quite like Vucic now, so take that off him, or take Spike's championship off him, or whoever's there. We can. There's a bit of space in our trophy cabinet for them.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. So before we obviously do our outro race, is there anything else you'd like to plug, my friend?
I mean, yeah, feel free to follow me on Twitter, X, on Instagram, on Facebook, but I don't really do much on there. So Twitter and Instagram at Let's Be Ace. I should probably get some new merch, so give me a message about that. In fact, people were asking me about the masks that I had, so maybe that'd be a thing. I don't know. Yeah, and maybe some other strange wrestling or ish things in the pipeline that we'll see how they do. But yeah, just come down to a show, come and cheer me as loud as you can, come and boo all the other wrestlers, support British wrestling, be nice online and in general. And just remember, I'm Ace and you could be too.
Let's roll that outro, shall we?